Hello and welcome to this Moho Crafts video tutorial where we're going to show you how to get started using one of our crochet basket bases. Crochet is great for making baskets, but getting this bit going is so boring. Got to get all your numbers right, get it nice and flat, and it uses up loads of your yarn. So with our basket bases, grab one of these, start around the edge, and then you can just get going on the bit that you see. What you're going to need if you want to have a go yourself is a wooden basket base. We do them in a lot of different shapes and sizes. Some sort of yarn or cord, something thick to work the edges. I'm going to be using this tealy t-shirt yarn. And then you're going to need crochet hooks in two sizes. You're going to need a 5mm, see if we can find that on there. Oh, there it is, a 5mm to get you started, and then an 8, 9, 10, 11 or 12. Whatever your yarn recommends. I'm going to use an 8 with this one today. Ideally as well, if you're working with t-shirt yarn, go for something with quite a rounded head. If you get a really sharp head like the wooden Knit Pro Symphony ones, which I love to use normally, but with t-shirt yarn they're just too sharp and they catch it. Right then, let's get this started. First of all, we're going to want our 5mm hook, so we can get rid of the bigger one for there. And we're going to use a smaller one so that it'll fit through these holes. If we try the bigger one, oh no! So we take our yarn, lace yourself up however you prefer, and we're going to just start at the back with no slip knot or anything at the back. I'm just going to put my hook through one of the holes. It is a bit fiddly doing this because you kind of got to get the angles right, and normally I would sort of do it facing me like this. It's a bit easier. It's not great for camera, but we'll give it a go. So put my hook through any hole and pull up a loop. Lovely. And we want to keep this not too tight because we're using a 5 here and we're going to be using an 8 or a 9 later. So we've got to keep it nice and loosey-goosey. So I've done that in the first hook and I'm just holding it at the back. Put that through my second hole, catch the yarn and pull it through to the front. Give it a wiggly wiggle, get those up to the same height, and then wrap around and pull through 2 to do your first double crochet. And then we're just going to do a double crochet into each loop all the way around, keeping it nice and loosey-goosey. So in the next hole, round, through 2. So through, oh, like I say, you will keep losing that just because it's a smaller hook head for your chunkier yarn or cord. So we're just going to go all the way around in this, nice and loosey-goosey. So pull up your loop, round and through 2, just a standard double crochet, 1 into each hole. Okay, so I've now gone all the way around and I've done a double crochet into every hole. What I want to do now is join this, and I want it to be an invisible join because this is going to sit around the outside of the basket like that. So if I have a very visible lump there, it's going to upset me. So what we do is we push this, stretch that loop there and take that out of the way. What we want to do is put our hook through from the back to the front of this one, catch that stitch there, just tighten it up and pull it underneath there like that. Okay, so it now looks as if it's gone through there. Lovely. And I'm then going to put my hook up underneath the stitch I've just finished where it came out of, hook it and pull it back through that one. So now, although it's twice as thick, it's a seamless join in there, and then when we tighten that one up afterwards, that is invisible. Lovely. All right, so we then are going to do 1 chain. When I've finished this first round, I want to switch over to my bigger hook. I'm going to use a size 8. You might, depending on what yarn you're using or what you're up to, you might choose a different size. That's fine. Follow your heart. If you find your basket sides are a bit too tight and pulling in, just go up a hook size. If they're a bit too saggy, go down. So what we want to do now is we're going to work underneath these back bars here. So if you look at your stitch, there's your normal V that we might work underneath if we were doing standard doubles. We're not going to go through the front or the back, we're going to go underneath this bar at the back here so that our sides build up nicely and we get this lovely edge around the bottom. Looking very professional. So what we want to do is, for this first one, it looks a little bit different, it's a bit fiddly. So what you want to do is just find one of the strands of that stitch that you've just made and go under there, and then just pull up that loop that is there from your first stitch. Then, and this will be a little bit tight because we're using a bigger hook into smaller loops, round, and it's a double crochet. Lovely. So we're going to work all the way around now, and we want to pick up these bars here. It is fiddly and it's a bit tricky at first. You can, if you wanted to, go for like an intermediary hook size instead of going straight for your big one that you're going to use, but it is doable. You just have to kind of get your nails involved a bit. There we go. And keep these ones, we want these again to be quite nice and loose. We don't want a very tight tension, because when we do the rest of it, if you're doing it in waistcoat stitch, which is what I'm going to do, and your doubles are too tight, you just can't get your hook in. So let's keep going. Right, I'll keep going around here, and you can see the effect that you get, this lovely kind of base around the bottom that just is very neat. Right, I'll see you back at the end of the round. So when you get back round to here, I've got this final stitch to do. This one might look a little bit different, but that is effectively, that bit there, that is the bar that you've been working through in all the other stitches. So just have a dig in there, get one last one. And then we're going to join with a slip stitch to this first one that we had there. Lovely. And one chain. Now, as you can see, if we give this a bit of a fettle and tighten that up there, we've got this lovely seamless join all the way around, a nice solid level base to pop it onto, and then we're going to get these really nice sides. So I'm going to carry on using a waistcoat stitch, which is like a double crochet, but instead of going down underneath the stitches at the top, you go through these legs here, and it gives a nice rigid fabric. It is a little bit fiddly at first, and if you've done quite tight stitches, which I'm a really tight crocheter, you might find it difficult to get into here. So it's just about loosening up your tension appropriately. So you just kind of look for the middle, make sure you're going through those legs there, give yourself a lovely double crochet. Same again, kind of, if you're using t-shirt yarn, it's got a nice stretch in it, it's a bit easier. If you're using cord or rope, it might be a little bit harder on your hands. Might have to get some, crack out the good moisturiser. So instead of going underneath the top there, I'm going in between the little legs of the front. Okay, I will carry on with this, and we'll just have a quick look at joining, and then we'll see what we get up to. So again, I'm back round to my initial stitch here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little slip stitch into the top of that one. Lovely. So I'm just going to get, it won't be very noticeable, it will look slightly different to the others, but it won't be horrendously noticeable, and it keeps it, when you're working in rounds, it's a little bit easier than working in a spiral, because when you're finishing you're working in a spiral, you get a lip at some point that you have to even up. So as you're going round, if you're using t-shirt yarn, just every now and then give it a little stretch just to drag it into shape, and you'll see it start to form beautifully. So basically that's all there is to it. Carry on up the side. You could do whatever you stitch, whatever stitch you fancy around the edges. Like I said, I'm doing this waistcoat double crochet, but you could do yarn under doubles, you could do bobbles, you could do anything you fancy. Just bear in mind that you want something that's quite rigid. If it's too floppy, it'll just fall over and you won't be able to get anything in your basket. I hope that's helped you get started with your basket bases. It's the same process whether you're working with a square, oval, heart shape, circle, anything. Start off with your doubles, then go through the third bar, and then whatever stitch you fancy after that. Alright, don't forget to send us some pictures of what you're creating, and then we will see you soon. Bye bye!